when you read the Bible, if all you believe in is all the magic stuff, then you have little faith. You know, because how many times in the Bible does Jesus say he's not Jehovah? He does not know, and I will not know you. He says that a lot in the Bible. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. He does not know. He's not God, and he will not know you in spirit on the day that we are living the peace of the Lord. And so you guys got to understand that. That's very important. It's constantly in the Bible, especially the New Testament. So that's something you guys got to understand. He never says or claims to be an omniscient, omnipotent God. He does claim that God is omniscient and omnipotent, but he does not claim to be God, nor possess the power of God. And so if you believe in all the magic stuff in the Bible, and that's what makes you believe in Jesus Christ, then you have little faith. I sat and watched the British kid from Cambridge, Charlie Kirk, and he got off on, attacking him and making him look stupid, which isn't hard to do. It's pretty easy. Charlie Kirk is a philanthropist that's full of shit. He claims to be a Christian, but talks about mass murder over money and says that's just casualties of war, which is not talked about in the Bible because you're supposed to forgive debt and trespass, love, and eternal faithful peace. You think a person who was going to graduate from Cambridge would have explained that to him publicly. Been quite a coup there. Definitely a mic drop there. But it didn't happen, right? So I sat and watched it, and then I watched this lead kid talk about the market and other kinds of irrational gibberish and bullshit. And, there's a K curve and a V curve. And, okay, what are we talking about here? Money. Oh. And what people are doing with money, right? And how they manipulate people with money and technology. Okay. Quantum computing. It's it'll fix technology. It had to be their fix. It had to be their quote idea. I wouldn't have, I think using quantum computing is a good idea because they're not going to stand up for the Lord's Prayer and use computing to live the peace of the Lord. So quantum computing, which, will understand the peace of the Lord because it makes sense. And so you're sitting there looking at it. These people got to understand when you sit and you watch these people on TV trying to be influential, successful, and powerful and famous, they offer no solutions to their success. And when you look at the left, instead of not having irrational economics that make people send their children off to Camp Hiawatha, and that song's not as funny anymore. I'm sure there's a lot of people in Texas now that if they ever listened to or heard Hello Mother, Hello Father, that they would just break down in tears and it stopped raining. Mother, Father, please disregard this letter, And it's a very funny song, but it's based off of training, psychological training, going to college, learning from the top professors, being the best, and stuff like that, and being against the best and being with the best and being the best. I sat and watched this video from that one kid from Scotland that talks about basketball all the time. He's nut. But he's talking about these two kids that played together, and one kid was probably just as talented, if not better, but he died in a car accident. And I'm like, why the fuck are people still dying in car accidents? It's 2025. Forgive debt and trespass, love, one, eternal, faithful peace. That should make automobile travel a lot safer, would not you think? Okay. Why are people driving at breakneck speed? Because we're not forgiving debt and trespass, loving one, eternal, faithful peace there. Okay. Now, quantum computing, when it explains to you guys this, it's going to be genius. Okay. It's the same thing I had when I was in Phoenix, and I said, I think it's the pollution that's making me sick here. And I'm going to leave and I'm never coming back. And all the people, Earl, you're just crazy. Ralph, you're just crazy. Okay. Then the year I left, this is Paul Harvey. They did a study out of Stanford University. Said the main cause of heart disease is tire particles. And that was the gospel. I've been saying this for okay. Ralph, you're crazy. I know I'm crazy because I don't have. I dropped out of college because it was genocidal, not because I was stupid. Because economics was genocidal and clinical insanity and insane. That's why I dropped out of college. I did not drop out of college because I couldn't compete, because I couldn't outmaneuver people intellectually, that I couldn't think of the right thing to say to win the contest, and then get the keys to the bank or the corporate bathroom and shit. Okay, I know exactly what to say to people to win the game because I'm more intelligent than the people playing the game. But why would I play the game if the game is clinically insane and I am not? Do you understand? So I got a bullfrog symphony. They're not bullfrogs, I call them that. All the toads, you hear them outside? Every time we get a real big irrigation, but we got such a good rainstorm tonight that we got inches and inches of rain tonight. We got a lot. And they just love it. You hear them out there? You can hear them in the background. They get going. My dad, it used to keep him up when he could hear real well. Doesn't bother me. I kind of like it. It's like their mating call, I think, or something, but it's cute. I hear a bullfrog symphony, a tender melody, pulling me closer, closer to a burrowing under the house. Yeah, they're characters. Yeah. I always got to watch them when they'll sneak. When I'm watering the plants and flowers, which I don't have to. They got a real good watering. I'll have another 2 or 3 days before I have to. Maybe it will rain again. Who knows? But they get in the house and I have to catch them and put them out. And also, I have to tell them look out for me because I can't always see them underfoot. And they hop out under me, and I'm like, be careful. I always tell them, hey, be careful. You don't want to get stepped on by a 240-pound, 45-pound dude, man. That could be life altering or ending, right? And I don't want it to happen. So I always tell them to watch out. Watch out. Like on is that Bambi or whatever? Watch out. Watch out. But it was on a Disney cartoon, one of the frogs, watch out. But it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away when we still thought money was real and we all killed over it. Money is not real. All right, and people that talk about it and perceive themselves to be intelligent and intellectual are clinically insane. All right, and if you believe money is real and are willing to engage in contest or conflict over it, then those kids that died in Texas in those floods and their parents can't listen to Hello Mudda, Hello Fada without wanting to feel like they want to die. Money's not real. You don't send your kid off to social training to assimilate to groups, to fit in, to find your niche, to be the how to be the next great man. And they had the things with the gambling things. I watched some of that, the Malik Beasley kid and the Porter kid. And they got in trouble with people that were uncouth because they were poor. And then everything just went shit, and then it gets really hard, and then it just conclaves on them. And then we can't even elect them pope of their neighborhood. So it's horrible. The Porter kid, they said he was in debt to them. And the same thing with the Beasley kid. And the same thing with the Rozier kid, they said might have happened. I don't know, but that kind of stuff happens a lot. It happened to one of my favorite basketball players as a kid, a man named Connie Hawkins. Okay. They're poor, and they get predicated on for people to make big scores and money off them because we're not living in the Lord's Prayer. And this stuff is still happening. Guys, I've been on social media since June 9th, 2009, out of frickin' Sierra Vista, Fort Huachuca, Arizona. This stuff is still happening? Don't you feel lowbrow? Don't you feel like you're still a Neanderthal? What do you not get about? It drove me crazy all the time when they first started doing this. I was like, what's so hard about forgive debt and trespass and love one eternal faithful peace? Apparently, it's about as hard as a sex addict or a cocaine addict trying to give up what they're addicted to. And in that card or whatever that Colbert was making fun of from Epstein to Donald Trump, I think that's all Temple Illuminati members thinking they're getting away with everything and God is not stopping them. It's like God doesn't stop you from doing anything. If God was going to stop Jesus told me that, to tell my dad, because he got upset with it. He goes, don't you think if I was going to resurrect somebody, it would have been John? That I would have brought John back to life? If I was going to bring somebody back from the dead because I was God and the greatest prophet of all Israel, don't you think I would have resurrected John? Don't you think if I was God, I would have had the power to do that? Why didn't I resurrect John? Ask them that. Okay. I just resurrect random people to make a random point because, I just want to show off my powers every once in a while so they remember who I am. It's just insane. I know it's insane. Caesar's insane. Pharaoh's insane. Nebuchadnezzar's insane. Electing a president to mass murder over money and listen to the bullshit about how to make money on Wall Street that gets people mass murdered over manipulation is insane. Why do you think I dropped out of college? Why do you think I dropped out of the Air Force? Why do you think I'm sitting in this office chair just north of San Ysidro, New Mexico, fixing all the computing errors and helping put the right language into quantum computing on a daily basis? I can't take a day off until it gets fixed. And then when it gets fixed, I'm surviving, stop, eliminate abuse, recover there. Okay. Don't tell me how to do it. I tell you. You want to be there for me? Stand up for the Lord's Prayer with me. If you can't do that, when this is all done, I wish you good luck and goodbye. I don't believe in luck, so take luck and be good, because it's good to be good and it doesn't pay to be good. I'll see you around sometime. It's time you should be wise, yea, and take off your love disguise. Right? I love you guys very much. Okay. And I think a lot of you are starting to understand the magnitude of how much I love you. I hope the Obamas are. I hope Mr. Goldstein is giving Miss Jennifer a big hug and saying he really loves you. Yeah, of course I do. Everybody knows how much I love people. Okay, and how much I want them to live the Lord's Prayer with their family and pass it on until the end of time. And if people don't understand that and don't know that, Barron, grab your dad by the balls, look him in the eye, and say you can make him feel pain. I'm just kidding. That's Mark. Don't do what Mark does. Mark doesn't always think straight. Just look at your dad and say, if you really did have a crush on Raquel Welch, you'd want to save her from being abused by people that are abusive, and want her to be loved so she didn't have to put on a show for money for everybody to be the object of their sexual obsession, and be grateful that you got to have a child through that woman and get to live eternally through loving her. That's what he should do. I hope so. Well, I'm going to go shoot some hoops in the bar and we'll talk tomorrow, all right? Peace out.